Welcome back, True Seeker. The popular requests this morning are what happened to Riley Strain, who disappeared in Nashville, Tennessee on the fateful date of March 8th. If you recall, March 8th this year or any year from the past, we're always talking about the suspicious death stories on March 8th. And Riley Strain is missing right now, but I'm sure eventually the headline will be that his body was found. And also requested the death of Chris Simon, another NHL player dead in the news right after Konstantin Koltsov, who was dating the world famous tennis player. But I'm going to show just the common thread between all of these tragedies in the news. Again, Riley Strain, who's disappeared right now, Chris Simon, who died the day that his two former teams played each other, and the score was 5-2 as he dies at age 52. And then again, we'll review what we talked about yesterday with the passing of Konstantin Koltsov. But let's start right here with Riley Strain, who people are looking for right now. And again, it's just they're talking about TikTokers' great lead. Why aren't they talking about Zachary K. Hubbard's ongoing teaching from the last decade about murder by numbers? Something that a movie's been made about, a song's been sung about, multiple songs have been sung about. That's what would be in the headlines if the media was trying to lead anybody the right way. So again, March 8th, 3-8. Let me just read the story and then we'll get to it as well. Let's take in all these details. Riley Strain's last text message was apparently sent to a woman who was checking in on him the night he disappeared, according to loved ones. Body camera footage released Monday showed a Nashville police officer briefly encountering Strain on Gay Street shortly before the 22-year-old went missing. Strain's family is becoming increasingly frustrated with authorities as the investigation nears the 2-week mark. The last text message Riley Strain sent before he went missing has been revealed as the search for the University of Missouri student continues. The 22-year-old student sent his last text message to a woman he was seeing who had asked Strain how he was doing the night he disappeared. Family friend Chris Dingman told the News Nation on Monday. In response, Strain wrote back, "Good lops," according to Dingman. The family friend mentioned that the woman had a difficult time deciphering the message. Again, the message was good lops, L-O-P-S, and even went to the internet to seek clarification. In a separate interview, Michelle Whitey, Strain's mother, told News Nation she was not sure who the woman is. He's got several friends that are female, male. I don't know the individual he talked to at the time, she added. It's been a week and a half since Strain's disappearance on March 8th. Remember, this is the day the Boeing employee supposedly committed suicide. This is the day the Oregon governor announced they're reversing the policy on legal fentanyl because there's been so many deaths from fentanyl. Plus everything else we covered that day and in years past on March 8th. The Delta Chi fraternity member was last seen on surveillance footage just before 10 p.m. that evening, a short time after Strain was asked to leave country music star Luke Bryan's bar in Nashville. So the thing about March 8th is the date can be written 3-8 or 8-3. And Gematria. Again, there's a song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. There's another song out there that came out in 83 by the band The Police, which is called Murder by Numbers. And that song's about how killing is the sport of the authorities. It's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. And in Gematria, the word murder equates to 83. It also equates to 38. 83, 38. March 8th can be written 8/3 or 3/8. Again, Oregon also equals 38. Oregon reversed its decision on fentanyl, which also equals 38 because it's killing so many people. Other words that equal 38 that fit in Gematria. Killing equals 38. Death equals 38. RIP equals 38. The word Gematria equals 38, as does the word English, as does the word energy. Again, there's the song out there, Gematria, the Killing Name. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. So the March 8th disappearance is crucial. The movie Murder by Numbers. Again, the song came out in 83. The movie poster Murder by Numbers a movie that came out 38 weeks after the star's birthday, Sandra Bullock, whose name equals 83. You can see in the movie poster, they changed the E to the 3, the B to the 8, 3883. Same patterns over and over. Now, Luke Bryan is the bar that he left right before his disappearance. If you look up Luke Bryan, his actual birth name is Thomas Bryan. Thomas Bryan. Notice the overlap with sacrifice, Thomas Bryan, and Nashville TN, like you'd write it on an envelope. 46 forwards, 62 in reverse. And this matters because Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. We just talked about the death of the musician out of Oxnard, California, Cola Boy, who collaborated with the lead singer of MGMT and then died on the 46th day of that lead singer's age. And something I caught after I did that video is MGMT just put out an album. God, I forget what the... I'll show this to you when we move into the stream, but the name of the new album equals 46, and the title involves death. But again, Genesis 46 begins with the sacrifice. We see this number all the time in suspicious deaths as well. One of the most blatant examples in recent times was Coolio, dying on the 46th anniversary of Stevie Wonder's album releasing, which had the song on it, Pastime Paradise, which is where the sample comes from Gangster's Paradise. Coolio just happened to die on the 46th anniversary of that song's release. But also, if you're new here, Gematria, it's very simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. So there's 4 base ciphers. You want to know all 4. Sacrifice 46, like Genesis 46. Sacrifice in reverse 62, like how Torah equals 62, and Genesis begins the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, where a lot of this Kabbalah Gematria code comes from. But Thomas Bryan, same thing, 4662, like Nashville, Tennessee. The man who died, the young man, he was part of the Delta Chi fraternity, which also has the Gematria 46 and 62. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh man, I'm in Delta Chi, I better look out. Again, don't live in fear. There's a lot of members of Delta Chi. This is an extreme example, but at the same time, fraternities, they're part of secret societies. They're Masonic, and we're going to touch more on that next. Masonry. Again, the ultimate question is, are secret societies really a good thing for society? So Thomas Luther Bryan, better known as Luke Bryan, whose bar he was attending, his birthday is July 17th. And he just turned 47 last year, which means he's in his 48th year of life. But being 47, remember, Freemasonry studies the 47th problem of Euclid. Notice from his birthday to the disappearance was 33 weeks and days. Of course, you think of Masonry, you think of the number 33. The top degree of the Scottish Rite's 33. So the 47th problem of Euclid is studied by the Masons. This young man was last seen talking to police on Gay Street. Of course, there's the Fraternal Order of Police, which is Masonic. Notice how police, federal, again, the federal city is known as the Masonic City, named after the Freemason George Washington. But police, federal, masonry, secrecy, order, they all have that 33 in Gematria. He was last seen on Gay Street talking to police. Gay has the Gematria of 33. Notice how Tennessee, where this is happening, or where it happened, has the Gematria of 137 and 47 when numerology is applied. 137 is the 33rd prime number. In the Masonic compass, the legs are kicked out at 47 degrees, which means 23.5 degrees on each leg, 23.5, a bit like how the disappearance was 235 days after Luke Bryan's birthday. And again, just 137, the 33rd prime. So you see how it all comes together. Tennessee, Luke Bryan being 47, the police, the street. Now notice, Nashville and Gay Street both equate to 39 forwards and 51 in reverse. This is also important because when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Masonry, federal, secrecy, they're all 39. And once again, Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, which is based in the Old Testament, which has 39 books, unless you're talking about Catholic Bibles, where it has 46, like Catholic equals 46. That's why JFK was sacrificed at age 46. And Joe Biden was elected number 46, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday as the nation's second Catholic president, something we called way before it happened. But that 51, the 51 matters as well because conspiracy equals 51. And again, you think conspiracy, you might think of Area 51. And then the stereotypical term that goes with conspiracy is tinfoil hat. And you can see how conspiracy and tinfoil hat are both 51 and 57. And, words like Rome equate to 51 and 57. And Washington, D.C. used to be called Rome on the Potomac. And the land was owned by a man named Francis Pope, not to be confused with the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. But notice how Scottish Rite is also 57. And again, the Scottish Rite, the highest degree is 33. Their headquarters, the House of the Temple, is located in Washington, D.C. at the address 1733. Has 33 pillars on the outside that are each 33 feet tall. Again, masonry equals 33. Mason equals 17. The address is 1733. Modern Freemasonry since 1717. This nation since 59 years later, which is the 17th prime number. So, again, Scottish Rite ties in with all the 33s in this story. And notice the bar that Luke Bryan has is called Luke's 32 Bridge, and the address of it is at 301, a bit like 31. That's noteworthy because the 3 degrees of the Scottish Rite are 31, 32, and 33. And remember, if you add those degrees together, it adds up to 96, like the word Freemason equates to 96. The zip code there is 37201. The 201 does jump out at the end. If you're new here, we talk about 201 and the Jesuits all the time. The Jesuits created the Scottish Rite. Missouri Tigers equals 201. This student's a Missouri Tiger, disappearing in Nashville, Tennessee. And as for the last text message he sent that they're trying to decipher, Good Lops happens to equal 103, 113, and 32 in the 4-base ciphers. Of course, Scottish equals 103, 113, and 32. And again, the middle degree is the 32nd degree. Keep in mind, America equals 32. College equals 32. Career equals 32. Average equals 32. The average of the 3 degrees of the Scottish Rite is 32. This nation, July 4th, 1776, its birthday, has 32 date numerology. But yeah, this has, it has the Jesuit Masonic fingerprints all over it, as does nearly every story like this in the news. In D.C., the federal city is the Jesuit Masonic city. Jesuits were there before the Masons or the Feds. Again, the Scottish Rite's a Jesuit creation. The Society of Jesus, the formal title of the Jesuits, equates to 235. Jesus on the cross at 33. 33 bones in the human vertebrae. With regards to that, let's now talk about the hockey player that's the latest dead hockey player in the headlines, who died the day that his 2 former teams faced each other and both left the game on 33 wins. Chris Simon, again, dead at 52. His first team was the Washington Capitals. Early in his career, he also played for the Calgary Flames. He died March 18th, the day the Capitals beat the Flames 5-2. And the Capitals picked up their 75th points in this game of the season. In hockey, a win is worth 2 points. An overtime loss is worth 1 point. Just a straight-up loss is worth 0 points. But the Capitals picked up their 75th points of the season against the Calgary Flames, which equals 75. Again, we use this knowledge before the games are played to take advantage of the rigged scripts. But like I always say, the games are rigged, the rituals off the court, the field, the ice, they're rigged too. So just think about it. A man who played for both these teams dies at 52, the day that the score is 5-2. And we've seen things like this 1,000 times in sports. NHL, NBA, MLB, all these leagues. But Capitals in Washington, D.C., the nation's federal city as well. Capitals win 5-2. Both teams on 33 wins. Capitals stayed on 25 losses. Remember, the other hockey player, they had to make a point that his superstar tennis girlfriend is 25 right now. But in case you forgot the significance of 25, of course, it's the reflection of 52. You could from the Flames, who were the home team, from their perspective, they lost 2-5. We'll get to how Simon equals 25 like death. But anyway, starting with the 5-2 like 52. Government 52, authority 52. Again, this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah 52. It's called Gematria 52. The phrase the cabal equals 52. The list goes on. President's 52, White House is 52. Big number. 52 cards in the deck, 52 weeks in the year. The calendar named after the Pope, Pope 52, the ultimate authority. Again, very special number 52. And you can see here's Chris Simon's team. Started with Washington, then played for Colorado. They were in Quebec before they became the Colorado Avalanche. Then he went to Calgary. But his surname, Simon, 25, like death. Again, his name buzzing at the same time as Konstantin Christov, who's dead in the time of his 25-year-old girlfriend, tennis star. And one of the most popular comments left in that video is, "Come on, Zach, she's not even a woman." Listen, I don't say things that I can't prove, but I do look and I say, she does look very masculine. I mean, 6 foot, 174, that's a dude's build. But at the same time, I can't say definitively that the tennis star is a man. Is it possible? Yeah. But for all of you guys who say things like that, it's like, do you have the receipts? Have you seen inside their underwear? You know what I mean? There are some women that are built like dudes, and wouldn't it make sense that they would dominate the women's world of tennis if they had a very masculine build? But could it also be a man? I mean, hey, that's a possibility. It's just I don't claim things I can't prove. I sit here and demonstrate every day evidence of the same patterns and the same rituals and explain why this stuff's been put out in popular culture, like the song Gematria, the killing name, and murder by numbers. I stick to things that are based in evidence. If I had pictures of inside the tennis player's underwear and I could share them on YouTube without getting the video taken down, say, that definitely is a dude, I would, but I don't have that. So anyway, back on topic. Chris, who's dead, Chris Simon, he died on the 78th day of the leap year, right? And again, both of his former teams exited on 33 wins, this number. Jesus on the cross at 33. Notice how Chris equals 78, and when you apply numerology, 38. Or did I say 38? 33. Again, dead on the 78th day of the year when his teams walk out of the ring or the ice rink, both on 33 wins. Scottish Rite, 78, where the highest degree is 33. The Scottish Rite rites were created by Jesuit priests. And let's not forget that was in London, which is divided into 33 areas. But Jesuits also 78. And again, one more time, Masonry, Federal, Secrecy, Order, 33. Washington, D.C. equates to 137, the 33rd prime. Just like what we just talked about with how Tennessee's 137, the 33rd prime, and what happened with Riley Strain. Chris Simon has the gematria of 62, like sacrifice. We just talked about where this fit in with Riley Strain and what happened to him in Nashville, Tennessee. It remains to be seen if they're going to find his corpse this Friday on the 22nd of March, since he's 22 years old. Again, 322 is important to Kabbalah. 3 pillars, 22 paths. And in Genesis 322, the tree of life's mentioned, the physical model for Kabbalah, and knowing good and evil. And both of those verses in the New International Version and the King James Version, despite the different wording, equate to 322, like ancient mystery religions, like Abrahamic religions. Okay, now in the case of Chris Simon, he's dead 48 days before his upcoming birthday, and we just talked about how the other dead hockey player began his NHL career wearing number 48 and died 48 days from his girlfriend's birthday. Again, Freemason has the gematria 48. So does Illuminati. And again, the Illuminati was found by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, and part of their plans was to infiltrate Freemasonry. And part of the National Archive of this nation is George Washington's letter about his concerns about the Illuminati and what it was doing to Freemasonry, which he was a part of. And here we are in the information age where people like laugh at words like Illuminati and think it's some meme to write Illuminati confirm, like it's some kind of big joke. It's like, well, if you took the time to look into history, you'd find out that the first recognized president was legitimately concerned about the Illuminati. You'd see that the founders, like Jefferson and Adams, were legitimately concerned about what would happen if the Jesuits came out of suppression. And then they did in the time of James Madison. And then they both died on the same day on the nation's birthday, July 4th, 1826, 7-4. When holidays 74, like Independence Day, like killing, like Masonic, like occult, like English, like Gematria. Again, learn the 4 base ciphers. You'll learn the numbers that have the super repetitive patterns in death. And again, with regards to Konstantin Koltsov dying at age 42, 48 days from his girlfriend's birthday, after playing in 144 games in his career. Remember, the word Freemason has gematria 42 and 48. Jesuit has the gematria 42, like Illuminati. And this man, Konstantin Koltsov, died on the same day as Chris Simon. He also, well, at least his death was here. Let's see if they updated it, because his death was announced on March 18th, but the article wasn't clear. Well, they're still saying that's the day he died too, and it's the day it was announced. So again, just this Jesuit Freemason connection. Dead at 42 on the 78th day of the year. Jesuits 42 like Freemason. Georgetown equals 42. That's the Jesuit university that was established in D.C. at the same time George Washington was inaugurated as the first president. And Georgetown equals 42 in the same cipher as Jesuit. If you run Georgetown forwards, it equals 57, like Scottish Rite, like the name George alone, who was inaugurated at age 57, like Rome equals 57, and D.C. used to be Rome on the Potomac. Again, how all these numbers come together. And again, Koltsov played for the Penguins, and we've always called the Penguins the 42 team. Yeah, so we covered his death yesterday, but just now what's interesting is the article I covered said that he died from a detached blood clot, and apparently now the story is that look, it says right here, died due to a detached blood clot. Somebody sent me an article saying that he jumped to his suicide. Let me see if that's the news story. Hold on. Koltsov suicide? I mean, that's a totally different story than detached blood clot. Now apparent suicide. I mean, that's total. How does it go from died from detached blood clot to suicide? An apparent suicide now. You see how they post this at 47 minutes after the hour? I'm telling you, you pay attention to the post times. It's like AI is running the system. Suicide has that 47 as well. Okay, from detached blood clot to suicide. That's wild. 39 minutes in the 39th minute of the day receives the call about and now jumping off a balcony. I mean, what? And in here, they got to make sure they tell you about the 144 games. Once again, they got to keep bringing up the numbers. People don't understand how fateful that 144 number is. Again, Lincoln shot on 14/4 or after blaming the Civil War on the Jesuits. JFK, 144 days from the Pope. RFK, 1:44 a.m. And a long list. I mean, remember last year on the day leaving 144 days left in the year? We were talking about at the beginning of the day while there was an assassination scare for Joe Biden. President Biden, by the way, equals 144. He's Jesuit educated. Let's not forget Jesuit Georgetown simulated the 2020 election, June 12th, 2020, 144 days before the election that Biden would win. But remember, August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year, we were talking about that Biden story in the morning. And then by the end of the day, there was an assassination in Latin America for a presidential hopeful. And he had all the 63 connections too, like JFK was smoked in 63. And RIP to the dead Kennedy's drummer who died recently at age 63. People don't even see through these jokes. But wow, this went from blood clot to jumped off the balcony. That's wild. I mean, talk about getting your stories crossed. But yeah, 39 minutes. Think about it, guys. 39 minutes after the day started. We just talked about where that number fits in with masonry and secrecy. And oh, man. St. Regis Bell Harbor Resort. Where's that at? In the Miami-Dade area. Hold up. So it's another hotel-related death. The address is 9703. As we know, death equals 97 and 25. 97 is the 25th prime. 25-year-old superstar, girlfriend, tennis player. St. Regis Bell Harbor Resort has that 331 in it. That's the 67th prime. And here, let's go back to what the original cause of death was before they're saying he jumped off the balcony. Initially, they said it was a detached blood clot, which equals 67 and 86, like blood sacrifice and human sacrifice. Now he jumped off the balcony at the 331 hotel, the 67th prime. Yeah, that's super suspect. I mean, here, let me just read it. This was the reporting. Konstantin Koltsov, a former Penguins forward and boyfriend of professional tennis player Arnya Sabalenka, died at age 42, according to his former Russian hockey club, Salavat Yuliev. While not official cause of death, Belarusian publication Telegraph reported Koltsov died in Miami due to a detached blood clot. What? I mean, come on, man. Here, I'll show you one other thing about suicide since he's an NHL player. You see how NHL has the 34 and 47? Look at suicide. Suicide. 34, 47. And remember, they just did this with the guy who just testified against Boeing and then blew his brains out. Supposedly, like just days later, Boeing's got the 34 for the record. Murder's 34 too. And you know what? In light of the kid who's dead, who's missing, Tennessee 34. You know, yeah. So, again, it's too bad that in the information age, this work hasn't spread a lot more in the last decade. Again, had we continued to spread like we were in 2016 and 2017, I think every English-speaking person would know, but the algorithm has destroyed this word getting out. And you know what I noticed? As time goes on, the views just get worse and worse. Like, it's getting really bad how low the views are for every video. And there's no reason for that to be happening as the work only gets better as time goes on. But I suppose that's why they got to clamp down even more. So thank you to the 33rd degree free Memeson. Funny name. And thank you also to Reg Nempsir, if I'm saying that right. Sorry if I brutalized the pronunciation. But yeah, got to get back to work, you guys. It's always a grind. And part of the reason I never finish what I need to get finished is because there's always just more to keep up with and always more requests. I hope all you guys who ask me to, cover things each day, and I do, I hope you guys do support the work. Because the only way that this work's ever going to reach the people it needs to is if we have a lot of resources behind it, and we don't. Like I said, man, if we had 1 million people out there supporting this work at $1 a month, that would be nothing. It'd be 3 pennies a day, but we'd have serious funding to have a team of people in every major city, getting out the word. And that's the way it should be. GematriaEffectNews should be a news establishment getting out the word every day in population centers, making big change. And if you guys haven't seen when we travel before, if you're new here, I mean, we have traveled. We've gone city to city for major anniversaries, and we have a big impact. but it's costly and it's expensive. And since I did that all over the place in 2022, my financial support's been cut down to a fraction of what it was. And I think that's also the machine clamping down. But again, if you can't support the work, if you do see the value in it, all the different ways to support are linked in the description. And, keep saying it. One day we might just manifest it and make it happen. But time is a ticking. So thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. Shout out to the new member over here. She's hearing it. That's $1 a month right there. I appreciate that. The Nagahite Israelite. Oh, it's the Black Cougar. Okay. Thank you again. Appreciate that. I definitely recognize your old handle. So thank you. Leslie says, it's the powers that be. I can be watching your video and like it, and it'll say 0 likes and views. Exactly. And every time I publish a video, it has more likes than views, which shows that right away the algorithm's doing something to mess up the view count. It's like you have to get multiple views for it to count as one view. It's like I think the way they've made the algorithm, it's like 10 views counts as one view on this channel. So shout out to Rick James again, too, always with the generosity. Appreciate that, Rick. But yeah, if you guys do want to support the work, links in the description. And if you're into March Madness, we did our first big March Madness stream yesterday, and we'll be doing our next big March Madness stream later today, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Again, remember, the tournament always pays tribute to history. This is the 85th edition of the tournament. It's the Final Fours in Arizona, where Lute Olson, the great coach, died at 85 recently. And how funny that Arizona's playing Lute Olson's original college in the opening round. And if you guys missed my call in a couple weeks back, I said, watch, Arizona probably going to beat Arizona State with 85 points. And sure enough, they did, because Arizona State's hosting the Final Four, and that's how scripted it all is. Don't forget, basketball equals 85, like the Jesuit motto Isu Salmonum Salvator. And the first March Madness, when it went by that name, was in 85. And the Jesuit school, Georgetown, lost to the Catholic school, Villanova Wildcats. But you go back and look in 85, who hosted the Final Four in 85? Was it another state that has a Wildcats? Was it Kentucky? Did Kentucky host the Final Four in 85? The Wildcats were the Villanova Wildcats were, and now Arizona that has a Wildcats is hosting. So anyway, you pay attention to all the clues, you can start to see the way the games are scripted. And again, it's not an accident that Lute Olson died at 85, and it's not an accident that Arizona opens against Long Beach State, this wild story that snuck into the tournament. And again, for all of you guys out there who are like, I don't like the way they do the seeding and bracket, it seems rigged. It's not that it seems rigged, it's that it is rigged. And to continue to talk about these sports games like they're real, again, people don't like that I say this, but it's true. I feel like there should be a law that if you think sports are real, college or pro, or that you're still listening to the news, I think there should be a new law. It would send short bus stocks through the roof. But I think like you should only be allowed to be transported around in a short bus. Again, if college sports were real, Houston wouldn't have just gotten beaten by 30 points in their tournament championship when they're the number one team in the nation. Number one teams don't get beat by 30 points. That only happens in rigged sports. Number one seeds would never, ever lose to a 16 seed, tiny little, barely a college basketball team. It would never happen unless it was rigged. A 2 seed would never lose to a 15 seed ever unless it was rigged. It's rigged. The game is rigged. All of the American sports are credited to Masons. Secret societies run your sports leagues like they run your news, like they run your government. And again, what do they etch on their temple? All is number. Every year, it's a big number ritual in sports. Last year, in UConn's 120th season, they outscore all their opponents in the tournament by 120 points. And through the whole tournament, you saw the Hashim to beat UConn ad when Hashim to beat equals 120, the former UConn star. Not to mention, they took down the Nets in UConn's first game because there was supposedly a little snag in the net after they scored the 84th points. And then they went on to win the 84th tournament as their coach became 8-4. Now the whole nation expects UConn to repeat, which is interesting because UConn's coach's brother coaches Arizona State, who's hosting the Final Four. But Anyway, yeah, you want to join us for the Final Four discussion or college tournament discussion? We're eyeballing a lot of big upsets in the opening round. Every year, there's a lot of big upsets, and we normally get the vast majority of them. And I'd guess for the last decade, no community's called more big upsets dead on than the Gematria community. And I wouldn't even guess. I'd say for certain, because everyone's looking at the games like they're real, where we're seeing how the rig is in. And let's not forget, last time the tournament was in Arizona, told you right at the start of the tournament, I said, UNC will beat Gonzaga. It's all about the news story of the bathroom bill and what's going on in the Carolinas. And Carolinas are going to do very well in this tournament. Sure enough, South Carolina made it to the Final Four. UNC won. South Carolina won the ladies' tournament. Bathroom bill equals 71 like March Madness. I said that tournament's going to be all about 71. Lo and behold, UNC beat Gonzaga with 71 points. March Madness, 71. First game last night of the play-in, 71 again. What's that school called? Wagner beat Howard with 71 points. Howard goes down with 68. 68 teams now in the tournament with the play-in, and basketball equals 68, like Catholicism, like mathematics, like how the Catholic school beat the Jesuit school in the first ever March Madness when it used that brand name. Anyway, yeah, join us today. Link for the Patreon's in the description. It's $5 for all the written content for the month. It's $11 for all the live streams, and we'll be live streaming every day on Patreon for the March Madness tournament. So if you want to support the work, that's a good way. And again, it's also a nice little way to potentially build up some grocery money, which can be very useful in the time of high-priced groceries. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.